8.1. Represent the square of 5 by an arrangement of dots. 1, 2, 3. So what will be the answer? 5 into 5, we know that is 25. So 25 is the answer. Okay, next question. Complete the table given below and answer the questions accordingly. The top row, which is the number. Then the second row, the heading is square of the number. So if we take 1, square is what? 1. 1 times 1 is 1. If we take 2, the square is 2 times 2, that is 4. If we take 3, square is 9. If we take 4, square is 16. If we take 5, the square is 25. Then I'll erase these. So 6 square is 36. 7 square is 49. 8 square is 64. 9 square is 81. 10 square is 100. Then we have 11. Square is what? 121. Then we have 12. Square is 144. Then we have 13. Square is 169. Then we have 14. 196. Then we have 15. 225. Right. So we have 16. The square is 256. Then we have 17. The square is 280. Under that, there's another part. By adding some pairs of perfect squares in the second row, we can obtain another perfect square. Observe the table and write 4 such relationships. Right. So first of all, I will take something like this. So 36 plus 64. Right. So you will get what? 100. Okay. So 36 means what? 6 square. 64 means 8 square. 100 means what? 10 square. So that is one response. 6 square plus 8 square. So that is equal to what? 10 square. Right. Then I can get something like this. 25 plus 144. Okay. So I will be getting what? 169. 25 means what? 5 square. 144 means 12 square. So this is equal to what? 13 square. Right. So 5 square plus 12 square. So that is equal to 13 square. So the next one, 81 plus 144. 1 plus 4, that is 5. 8 plus 4, that is 12. 1 plus 1, that is 2. 225. That means what? 9 squared plus 12 squared. So that is equal to what? 15 squared. Right? So 9 squared plus 12 squared, that is equal to 15 squared. Right. So the next one we have 144 plus 256. Right? So 100 plus 200, that is what? 100 plus 200, that is 300. 44 plus 56, that is another 100. Altogether 400. 400 means what? The square of 20. Right? So 144 means 12 square. 256 means 16 square. So that is equal to what? 20. So this is another response. 12 square plus 16 square, that is equal to what? 20 square. Okay, question number 3. Still we are in exercise 8.1. Write down the perfect square between 10 and 20 and the reason for it. So between 10 and 20, so that is what? 16. So what is the reason? Why do we call this as perfect square? If we go back to the very basics regarding squares, what are square numbers? Square numbers. So back in grade 6 and 7, when we talk about square numbers, what are square numbers? Numbers that we can represent using what? Using a square. That means there should be equal number of rows and equal number of columns. Right? So when we take the number 16, we can arrange it into what? Into a square which has equal number of rows and equal number of columns. So it should be the reason. අපිට number එක ලියලා reason එක ලියන්න ඕනනේ. Right? So the reason is what? The number 16 has equal number of rows and equal number of columns. Then we have part 2. Write down the perfect square between 60 and 70 and the reason for it. So if we take 60 and 70, what is a perfect square? 64. What is the reason? Same as before. We can arrange the number 64 into a square which has an equal number of rows and an equal number of columns. Part 3. Write down the perfect square between 80 and 90 and the reason for it. Right. So if we take 80 and 90, the perfect square is what? 81. Right? The same reason. Part 4, what do we have? How many perfect squares are there between 110 and 160? So if we take the range 110 and 160, right? So we know that 11 into 11, that is 121. 12 into 12, that is 144. 13 into 30, that is 169. Okay. So actually how many square numbers do we have? Perfect squares? 2, no? 121 and 144. Right. Question number 4. Complete the table given below. So we have a table and we have 3 columns. The first column heading, odd numbers added consecutively. The second column heading, sum. Third column heading, the perfect square in the index form. Right. So I will do the first one. So we have 1. So this is the first column. Then we have the sum. So the sum is also 1. Right. The perfect square in index form. 1 means what? 1 to the power 2. Next we have what? 1 plus 3. So the sum is what? 4. That means 2 square. Then we have 1 plus 3 plus 5. So that means 9. In index form, that is 3 to the power 2. Then we have 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. So up till here we know that is 9. To that we have to add what? 7. මෙතන numbers ටිකමනේ මෙතන ඉඳන් මෙතනට තියෙන්නේ. Right? So from here to here we know that total is what? The sum is 9. To that we have to add a 7. This becomes what? 16. That means 4 to the power 2. Right? Then we have 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. From here to here, we know the answer is 16. If we add 9 to that, this becomes what? 25. That means what? 5 to the power 2. 5 to the power 2. Using the above table, write the special feature of the numbers that are obtained when consecutive odd integers started from 1 are added together. So when we observe the result, what can we say? Simple thing, no? What are these numbers? These numbers, all of them, odd numbers. To be more specific, all of them are consecutive odd numbers. එක ළඟ තියෙන odd numbers. හරි පිළිවෙලට තියෙන්නේ. So when we add consecutive odd numbers, what do we get? Square numbers. So that is the pattern that we can understand. Right? So we will take the next odd number. Right? So what is the next odd number? After 9, 11. Right? So take 25 and 11. We get what? 36. 36 means what? 6 to the power 2. Exercise 2. Under that, question number 1. By considering the digit in the units place of each of the numbers given below, show that there are not perfect squares. The first number that we have is what? 832. I will again write the numbers. 2, 3, 7 and 8. Right? So the first number is what? Or the digit on the units place is what? 2. Right? So this is definitely not a perfect square. Right? Question number 2. What is the number that we have? 957. 957. Right? So the digit on the ones place is what? 7. So this is not also a perfect square. Third one, we have 530. Right? So the digit on the ones place is what? 3. So the got there. Right. Okay. Under that, question number 2, give an example of a perfect square which has 9 in its units place. So what can we take? We can take what? 3. 3 squared is what? 9. Right? Take 7 square. 49. Right? 13 square. 13 into 13, that is what? 169. Right? So these are some of the examples. Question number 3. If the digit in the units place of a whole number is one of 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9, then it is a perfect square. Show with an example that this statement is not always true. So this is another thing that you need to understand, right? Some of the time, the rules that we say, right, they do not apply for some numbers, right? So take for instance, right, if we take the number 10, right, so digit on the ones place is what? 0, no? But is 10 a perfect square? No. Right? Then take for instance the number 21. Digit on the ones place is what? 1. Is this a perfect square? No. Take for instance 31. Same thing, no? Digit on the ones place is 1. Right? Then take a digit like 44. Is this a perfect square? Right? Take for instance 125. Digit on the ones place is what? 5. This is not a perfect square. Right. Question number 4. Observe the digit in the units place of each of the number given below and write the digit in the units place of their respective squares. Right. So if we take part 1, we have what? 34. Right. So square means what? 34. We have to multiply by 34. The digit on the ones place is what? 4. 4 into 4, we know that is what? 16. Therefore, when we multiply these numbers together, what is the digit on the ones place? It will be 6. So next one we have what? Part 2, we have 68. Right? So square means what? 68 into 68. 68 into 68. So the digit on the ones place is what? 8. 8 into 8 is what? 64. The digit on the ones place is what? When we calculate the square of this number, the digit on the ones place is what? 4. Right. Part 3, what do we have? 45. So 45 into 45. So here, if we consider the number 45, the digit on the ones place is what? 5. 5 into 5 is what? 25. So when we take the square of this, what is the number? Sorry, what is the digit on the ones place? It should be 5. Exercise 8.3. Under that, question number 1. Find the value of each of the following. Right. So what do we have? First one, we have something like this. So we can expand what is inside the square root. Right. So we can write this as what? 2 into 2 into 5 into 5. So we have to find the square root of this. We have 2 pairs of the same number, pick one. 2 pairs of the same number, pick one. 2 times 5, what is that? 10. So here the answer is what? 10. So we will expand this. 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 5 into 5. Now we have to find the square root of this whole thing. Same 2 numbers, pick one. Same 2 numbers, pick one. Same 2 numbers, pick one. Now take the product or the value. 2 times 3, that is 6. 6 times 5, that is 30. So this is the answer. 30, yeah? 80 wage penne, that is 30. Right. So here, this is the third part. So we can simplify this. Right? So this is what? 3 into 5. 3 into 5. The whole thing with the square root. How many pairs of 3's do we have? 1. So we can pick 1 out. Same thing goes to the 5's. So I can pick 1 out. So 3 times 5, that is what? 15. So this is the fourth part. Right? How many 3's do we have? We have a pair. So we can pick out a 1. How many pairs of 7's do we have? 1. 3 times 7, that is 21. Right. So this is the fifth part. So we have a pair of 2's. So we can pick 1. Another pair of 3's. So I can pick 1. Another pair of 3's. Right. 2 times 3, that is 6. 6 times 3, that is 18. So if you take a look at this, 18 times 18 is what? 324. Now for a meet, forget this. Now we will write 324 as a product of prime 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are the sets of numbers which is present here. Find the square root using prime factors. So the first one, that is what? 144. So we know the square root of 144 is 12, but we have to use the prime numbers, so prime factors, right? So take 144, so we will divide this by 2, right? So we will get what? 72. 72 divided by 2, we get 36. 36 divided by 2, we get 18. 18 divided by 2, we get 9. 9 we have to divide by 3. 3 divided by 3, we get 1. Now we have to consider these numbers, right? So 144, that is equal to what? 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. So when we consider the square root, we need to use the symbol, right? So 144, the square root of it is what? We have a pair of 2's, so we pick 1. Another pair of 2's, we pick 1. Another pair of 2's, we pick 1. Now what is the answer? 2 times 2, that is 4. 4 times 3, that is 12. So this is the answer. Part 2, 400. Take 400, so we will divide this by 2. We get what? 200. 200 we will divide by 2. We get 100. 100 we will divide by 2. We get 50. 50 we will divide by 2. We get 25. 25 we will divide by 5. We get 5. 5 divided by 5, we get 1. So these are the numbers that we need to consider. So 400, that is equal to what? 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 5 into 5. So we need to consider the square root. So we have a pair of 2's, so I can pick 2. Another pair of 2, so I can pick another 2. I can pick another pair of 5. 2 times 2, that is 4. 4 times 5, that is what? 20. So the square root of 400 is what? 20. Right, so now we have to calculate the square root of 900. Right, so 900 we will divide by 2. We get what? 450. 450 we have to divide by 2. We get what? 225. 225 we will have to divide 3. So we will get 75. 75 we will divide by 3. So we will get 25. 25 we will divide by 5. So we get 5. 5 we have to divide by 5. We get 1. Right. So as I have mentioned, so 900 equals to what? 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 5 into 5. Square root. Square root. So these are equations, no? So what happens to the left side? Do the same thing at the same time to the right side. ඒකයි මම මෙතන square root එක දාපු ගමන් එහා පැත්තට දැම්මේ. So I can pick a 2, another 3, another 5. 2 times 3, that is 6. 6 times 5, that is 30. So the square root of 900, that is what? 30. Right. 324, we will divide this by 2. So we will get what? 162. 162 divide by 2, we get what? 81. 81 I have to divide by 3. So I will get 27. 27 divided by 3, I will get 9. 9 I will divide by 3. I will get 3. 3 divided by 3, we get a 1. 324, that is equal to what? We have to consider these numbers. Right? So 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. So we have to consider the square root. Do the same thing for the other side. Right? 324. 2 pairs of 2's. So I can pick 1. I can pick a 3. Again a 3. 2 times 3, that is 6. 6 times 3, that is 18. 18. So the square root of 324 is what? 18. Part 5. So we have 625. Okay. 625. So I will divide this by 5. Right? So I will get 125. 125 I will divide by 5. So I will get 25. 25 I will divide by 5. Then I will get 5. 5 I will divide by 5. Then I will get 1. We end the process when we get 1 as the quotient. Right? So these are the numbers that we need to consider. Right? So 625, that is equal to what? 5 into 5 into 5 into 5. So we have to take the square root, right? So here we have what? 2 pairs of 5s, so I can take one. Another, here we have a pair of 5s, so I can take a 1. Here, another pair of 5s, I can take a 1. Right? So the square root of 625, that is equal to what? 25. 625 square root, that is equal to what? 25. Square root of 484. So I will divide this by 2. So I will get 242. Again I will divide this by 2. Then I will get 121. I can use 11. Right? 121 divided by 11. We get what? 11. 11 divided by 11. I get a 1. So 484 square root, that is equal to what? 2 into 2 into 11 into 11. Then we have to find the square root, no? So the square root of 484, we have 2 of 2's, so we can pick 1. 2 of 11's, I can pick 1. 2 into 11, that is what? 22. So the square root of 484, that is what? 22. What is the side length of a square shaped parking lot of area 256 square meters? We have a parking area, the shape is a square, right? So we'll take one side as A. Then what will be the area? A into A square. So this is equal to what? 256. 256. So what are they asking? So what do? We need to calculate the square root, no? So 256, we will divide by 2. So we will get 128. 128 divided by 2, we will get 64. 64 divided by 2, we get 32. 32 divided by 2, we get 16. 16 divided by 2, we get 8. 8 divided by 2, we get 4. 4 divided by 2, we get 2. 2 divided by 2, we get 1. So that means what? 256 is equal to what? 2 into 2 into 2. How many 2's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Into 2, into 2, into 2, into 2, into 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Right? So when we consider the square root, what should happen? Square root of 256, that is equal to what? We have 2 of 2's, so we can pick 1. Another 2 of 2's, we can pick 1. Another 2 of 2's, we can pick another 1. And another 2 of 2's, we can pick another 2. So altogether what? 256, the square root is equal to what? 2 times 2, that is 4. 4 times 2, that is 8. 8 times 2, that is 16. So we get the square root as 16. So they are asking the side length, no? So you have to write, therefore, the side length is equal to what? 16 meters. Don't forget meters, huh? Right? Why? The area is given to us in square meters. So the side length should be what? 16 meters. Question number 4. The area of a square land is 169 square meters. Find the length of a side of the land. So the same thing as question number 3. Right? So what do we have to do? Right. So we have to find the square root of 169. So what do we use to divide 169? 13. 169 divided by 13, we get 13. 13 when we divide by 13, we get 1. Right. So here, what is the side length? So you should write in words something like this. So first of all, square root of 169, that is what? 13. So your workings should be on the answer. මේක හොයපු එක තියෙනවා නැත්නම් තේරුම්න්නේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ square root of 169, that is 13. Right? Then we have to do some more. පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩිපුර දෙයක් කරන්න ඕනේ. මොකද්ද? Therefore, the side length of the මොකද්ද මේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ? Land එකක් නේ. So the side length of the land is what? 13 meters. 13 meters. You have to definitely mention the unit. Why? The area is given to us in square meters. Right. exercise 8.4 under that question number 1. Complete the table given below. So we have a table. So the table has two columns. So the first column heading is perfect square. The second column heading is square root of the perfect square. Right? So the first row is completed for us. So in any case, I will start from that. So the perfect square is 9. Right? Then square root of 9. This means what? 3 to the power 2 inside the square root symbol. So the square root of 9 is what? So the next one we have is 36. Right? So the square root of 36. That means 6 to the power of 2 with inside the square root. So the square root symbol. So the square root is what? 6. So the next one we have is what? 64. Right? 64 square root. That means what? 8 to the power of 2 with inside the square root symbol. Then we have 8. Right? Then we have 121. Right? 121 inside the square root symbol. Right? This means what? 11 to the power 2 inside the square root symbol. Then we have 11. Then we have 400. Square root of 400. Right? That means what? 20 to the power of 2 inside the square root symbol. Right? That means what? 20 is the square root. Then we have 900. 900 inside the square root symbol. That means 30 to the power of 2. So this is 30. Exercise 8.4, question number 2. Check whether the given numbers are perfect squares and find the square root of each number which is a perfect square. So under that, part 1, so we have the number 169. The digit on the ones place is what? 9. That means this can be a perfect square. Can be. වෙන්න පුළුවන්. වෙනවම කියලා කියන්න බෑ. හරි? Right. So when we find the square root of a given number, right? We need to look at these two numbers. Right? The digit is 9, no? That means if we think about the square root of this number and the ones place of the square root, it can be, that means a digit, the digit can be 3 or what? 7. Why? We know that 3 into 3 that is 9. In the same way, 7 into 7 that is 49. Right? So if you take a look at the outcome, right? So here the digit on the ones place is 9. Here also the digit on the ones place is 9. Right? Then we focus on this number. So it is 1. No? So we have to think about the square root. So the square root of 1 is what? 1. Then what can be the number? It can either be 13 or it can either be 17. So if we think about it, 15, and if we square 15, 15 into 15 we get 225. 15 වරක් 15ම 225යි. එහෙනම් ඉතින් 17ක් 17 කියන එක අහන්න දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. 13 can be our answer. So we will multiply 13 into 13. So here the square root of 169 is what? 13. So the answer, actually it has two parts, no? 169 is a perfect square and the square root is what? 13. Right? 972. So just as before, if we take a look at the number and the ones, the digit on the ones place, what is that? 2. So definitely this is not a perfect square. Why? We know if a number has any of these digits, 2, 3, 7 or 8, any of these digits as a digit of the ones place of that number, then definitely it is not a perfect square. So 972 is not a perfect square. Okay, question number 3, part 3. What do we have? 441. Right. So if we consider the number 441, digit on the ones place is 4, digit on the hundreds place is what? 4. Since the digit on the ones place is 1, if we consider the square root of this number and the ones place of the square root of this number, what are the possible digits? It can be either 1 or 9, no? Now, Digit on the hundreds place is what? 4. So we can consider the square root of 4. What is that? 21. So what are the two possible numbers? 21 and 29. So out of these two numbers, when we consider the square of 21, it is equal to what? 441. So that means the square root of 441 is what? 21. Okay, so we have to consider the square root of 716. So we will take the number. So the digit on the ones place is 6. So now we will have to think about what? The ones place of the square root of this number. Right? So here we have 6. That means what are the two possible digits of the square root number of its ones place? It can be 4 or 6, no? Now here what do we have? Digit on the hundreds place is what? 7. So what's the nearest perfect square which is less than 7? 4. So we will consider the square root of 4, which is what? 2. So what are the possible two numbers? 24 and 26. If we take the square of 25, we get 625. That means, so most probably, if we check the square of 26, what will it be? 716. So I said most probably, yeah? So 26 into 26, what do we get? So that means when we multiply these two values, or if we take the square of 26, what do we get? 676. We can't take this value, square of 24, and also this value. Both of these values, when we square them, we don't get what? 716. What does it say? 716 is not a perfect square. We have the number 361. Here, the digit on the ones place is what? 1. So, this can be a perfect square, right? So, 361. So, we have to focus on these two digits, right? So, this is 1. No? That means, if you think about the square root of this number, on the ones place, it can be what? It can be 1 or 9. Then here, this is 3, no? So 3, this is not a perfect square, right? But it lies between the perfect squares 1 and 4. So we take the square root of 1, which will be what? 1. So this can be what? The number can be either 11 or 19. We know if we square 15, we get what? 225. So 19 can be the answer. So we have to multiply and verify. 361. So 361, this is a perfect square. And what is the square root? 19. So the next number we have is what? 484. So the digit on the ones place is what? 4, no? That means this can be a perfect square, right? So we will write down the answer again. We will write down the number again, which is 484. So these are the two digits that we need to consider. So this is 4, no? So in the square root, ones place of the square root, it can be what? Since this is 4, it can be 2 or 8. And here we have what? 4. So this is a perfect square. What is the square root? 2. So the number can be either 22 or 28. The number can be either 22 or 28. So we have to multiply. We know that 25 into 25, this is 625. So the number that we are checking is 484. So definitely 28 squared will be larger than even 624. So the number can be 22. So we will check it, right? Right. So 22 into 22, 484. So that means what? 484. This is a perfect square. And what is the square root? 22. 22. Right. So the next number is 1522. 1522. So this is definitely not a perfect square. Why? The digit on the ones place is what? 2. So this cannot be a perfect square. Right. So 529. So the digit on the ones place is 9. Digit on the hundreds place is what? 5. So this is 9 now. That means if we think about the square root of this number and the ones place, what can be the digits? It can be 3 or it can be 7. So this is 5 now. So we have to take the square root of this number. So 5, this is not a perfect square. But we know the number 5, it lies beneath the perfect squares 4 and 9. So what do we take? We take the square root of 4. Right? So the square root of 4 is what? We know that is 2. So what can be the number? It can be either 23 or 27. 23 or 27. Right. So we know 25 squared, that is 625. Okay, so what is the number that we are checking? 529. Even 25 squared is 625. So that definitely means the square of 27, it is greater than 625. So we don't have to multiply. So we will take this number 23. It can be the square root, but we have to multiply and verify. Okay. So 23 into 23, that means what? 529. This is a perfect square, right? So this is a perfect square. What is the square root? The square root is 23. So this is definitely not a perfect square. Why? If you take a look at the ones place, the digit is what? 2. So this is not a perfect square. So this number doesn't have a square root. Can a perfect square එකක් නෙමෙයි. හරි? Right. So the next number, what do we have? 624. 624. So the digit on the ones place is 4. So this can be a perfect square, right? So we will take the number 624. So these are the two digits that we need to concern ourselves with, right? So the digit on the ones place is 4. That means if you think about the square root, what are the digits on the ones place can be? It can be either 2 or 8. So the digit on the hundreds place is what? 6. So 6, this is not a perfect square, but we know this number is positioned between the perfect squares 4 and 9. So what do we take as the number? 4. We have to write the square root of 4. So that is 2. So what are the numbers? It can be 22 or 28. So we know that if we take the square of 25, this is 625, right? So definitely, if we take the square of 22, it will be, the number that we are checking is 624. No? Even 25 into 25, that is 625. So it is pointless to check the square of 22. ඒක පොඩි shortcut එකක්. ඒ වගේ මොනවාට මතක නම් අපි කලින් මේ exercise එකේම මේ number එක square root එකක් විදිහට ගත්තා. If we take the digit take the number 484, the square root of 484, that is what? 22. Okay? Right. So we will multiply 28 because we have to verify. Then 22 මේ match වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා එකපාරට 28 ගන්න බෑ. Check කරන්න ඕනේ multiply කරලා, right? So 28 into 28. When we take 28 and the square of 28, we get what? 784. That means what? 624. This is not a perfect square. Right. Exercise 8.4, question number 3. Question number 3. The value of square root of 324 is a whole number between 15 and 20. Find the square root of 324 by observing the last digit. So we have to calculate the square root of 324 by using the observation method. Right? So we know, or we can take the square root of 324. At the moment we don't know, we have to find it. But we can take the square root of 324 as what? AB, right? So AB into AB, that is equal to what? 324 in this case. So, by observing this number, which is 324, we can guess what are the digits for A and for B. A වලට එන්නේ මොකද්ද B වලට එන්නේ මොකද්ද කියන එක අපි මෙයා දිහා බලාගෙන කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So the first thing is 324. Can this be a perfect square? එකපාරට හොයාගෙන යන්න එපා. මේක perfect square එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා බලන්න. So the number on the if we take a look at the ones place, the digit is what? 4. That means this can be a what? Perfect square. බැරි වෙලාවකත් මෙන්න මේ digits ටික තිබ්බනම් 2, 3, 7 and 8 මෙන්න මේවා තිබ්බනම් මෙයා perfect square එකක් නෙමෙයිමයි. හිතන්නකෝ මෙහෙම 322 වගේ එකක් තිබ්බනම් එහෙම. What is the digit on the ones place? 2. එහෙනම් මෙයා perfect square එකක් නෙමෙයි. හරි. අපි ඒවා කතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Right. So now when we calculate the square root of a given number using the observation method, we focus on these two digits, right? Okay. Now, this is the ones place of this number, no? Right? So, since the digit is 4, that means what? AB means what? Right. Here, if we only think about this, the square root of 324, that is what? AB. So, here on 324, the digit on the ones place is 4. So we can get some idea regarding what B can be. The digit can be either 2 or 8. Now we come to here. So we have to find the square root of this number, but we know the number 3, this is not a perfect square. So what do we do? The number 3, it lies between where? Number 1 and number 4. These two numbers are what? Perfect squares. එතකොට මේ 3 කියන ඉලක්කම තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ perfect squares දෙක අතරේ. අපි එයාගෙන් ගන්නෙ මොකද්ද? මේ 1 කියන සංඛ්‍යාව ගන්නෙ. Right? එයාගෙත් මොකද්ද? ඉලක්කම මෙහෙම ගන්නවද නැහැ. We take the square root of it. So the square root of 1 is what? That is 1. So the digit on the ones place of the square root, it can be what? 1. ඒ කියන්නේ A කියන එක නම් 1 තමා, B කියන එක it can be 2 or 8. හරියටම දැන්ට කියන්න බෑ. එහෙනම් මොනවද numbers වෙන්නේ? It can be 12 or 18. So definitely this is not 12. Why? When we take the square of 12, we know that is 144. Right? 144. Then it can be what? 18. So we have to multiply and verify. That means what? When we take the square of 18, we get 324. Hurry. That means the square root of 324, that is what? 18. So 18 is the answer. එතකොට අපේ ගාන දිහා බැලුවොත් ඒකේ කියනවා නේද the square root of this number lies between 15 and 20 කියලා. එතකොට 18 තමයි උත්තරේ. And also here, right? We definitely know the square of 12 is 144, but from that we just cannot take the answer as 18. 12 නෙමෙයි තමයි. 12 නෙමෙයි හන්ද 18 ගන්න එපා එකපාරට. multiply කරලා උත්තරේ එනවද කියලා බලලා තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ. Okay, question number 4. 625 is a perfect square. Its square root is a whole number between 20 and 30. Find the square root of 625. So just as before, we will use the observation method. So we have to find the square root of 625. Actually, here we will use two methods, right? So first of all, we will try to find the square root of 625 by using the observation method, right? So 625, okay? So the digit on the ones place is 5. So this can be a perfect square. එතනින්දම වැඩේ යන්න ඕනේ. Right. So what are the digits that we need to concern ourselves with? 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Okay. So here the digit is 5, no? Digit on the ones place is 5. That means what? If we think about the square root of this number, right? Just as before, AB into AB. AB into AB is what? 625. and also the square root of 625. Sorry, yes. Thinking about this expression, what is the square root of 625? It is AB. So by observing this number, right, we can have an idea of what these two digits can be. මේ දෙන්න මොනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා අපිට idea එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? So this is 5 no. That means B can be 5. So the digit on the hundreds place is 6 no. That means what? 6. This is not a perfect square, but 6 lies between the perfect squares 4 and 9. So we take this number 4. What do we take? මේක 4 මෙහෙම දානවද? නෑ. We have to write the square root. What is the square root of 4? 2. So A, that is 2. So what can be the number? 25. That means what? The square root of 625, that is what? 25. Find the square root of each of the numbers given below by observation. Right. So the first one we have is what? 256. We need to check the ones place of the given number. Right. So the digit is 6. That means this can be a perfect square. Right. So now we will take 256. Okay. 256. Right. So these are the two digits that we need to concern. Right. So here we have the digit 6. That means on the square root and on the ones place of the square root, the digit can be either 4 or what? 6. Then here we have 2. So we know the number 2, that is positioned between the perfect squares 1 and 4. So we have to pick the number 1 and the square root of number 1. Right? So it is what? 1. So what can be the number? It can be 14 or 16. Right? So we know 15 squared, that is 225. So number that we are checking is what? 256. So definitely 14 we can, the square of 14 we can skip. Right? So if we check the square of 16, so the answer is 256. That means what? The square root of 256, that is what? 16. Right. So the next number we have 441. Okay. So take the number 441. The digit on the ones place is what? So this can be a perfect square, right? So these are the two digits that we need to concern ourselves with. Okay. So this is 1. That means if you think about the square root of this number, what can be the digits on the ones place? It can be 1 or it can be 9. Then here we have 4. So the square root of 4 is what? 2. So what are the numbers? Possible numbers 21 and it can be 21 or 29. We know 25 into 25, that is 625. The number that we are checking is 441. So it is less than, this number is less than 625. That means we can skip the square of 29. So we can check the square of 21. Okay. So 21 into 21, 441. So that means what is the square root of 441? It is 21. The answer is 21. The next number we have 729. Okay. So we have to calculate the square root of 729. Right. So the digit on the ones place is 9. No? So this can be a perfect square. Always you have to check that. So the number we have is 729. So the digit on the ones place is what? Digit on the ones place is 9 and this is 7. Right? So this is 9. No? That means think about the square root and the digit on the ones place of the square root. It can be what? It can be 3 or 7. So we get the number 729. That means what? The square root of 729 is 28. 361. The digit on the ones place is 361. That means this can be a perfect square. Right. So 361. So here the digit is 3. Sorry. Here the digit is 1. Here the digit is 3. Digit on the ones place is 1. No? That means on the square root of this number, the digit on the ones place can be what? it can be 1 or 9. Now think about this number. So this number we have to take the square root, but this is not a perfect square. But we know the number 3 is positioned between the perfect squares 1 and 4. So we take the square root of this number. Square root එක ගන්න නිකම්ම number එක ලියන්නේ. So what can be the number? It can be 11 or it can be 19. We know 15 into 15 or the square of 15 is 225. The number that we are checking is 361. So by comparing these two numbers, it is pointless to take the square of 11. So we have to take the square of 19, 361. Right. So that means the square root of 361 is what? 19. The square root of 361, that is what? Okay, so the digit on the ones place is what? 1. So that means what? This can be a perfect square. So we write 841, right? So these are the two digits that we need to concern ourselves with, right? So this is 1, that means on the square root and the ones place of it, what can be the digits? It can be 1 or 9. So here the digit is 8. We know we have to take the square root of this number. 8 is not a perfect square. 8 is positioned, however, between the numbers 9 and 4. These two numbers are perfect squares. So, as a rule, we take the lesser perfect here we take the lesser perfect square, which is 4, and the square root of it. 4 නිකන් දාන්න නැහැ. යාගේ square root එක ගන්නෙ, which will be what? 2. So what can be the number? It can be 21 or 29. So if we take, for instance, 25 square, we know that is 625. The number that we are checking is 841. So it is greater than 625. So we can skip 21 and move on to 29. 29 into 29. Okay, that means what? We get the same number. The square root of 841 is none other than what? 29. Right, miscellaneous questions. Under that, question number 1. In the given figure, ABCD is a square of side length 8 centimeters. BTRS is a square of side length 6 centimeters, and ATPQ is a square of side length 10 centimeters. Find the area of square ABCD. Right, so that is pretty easy, no? Right, ABCD, right? So that's a square, right? This square, no? ABCD. So that is what? 8 into 8, we get 64, but don't forget square centimeters. Find the area of the square BTRS. BTRS, right? So BTRS, that means what? 6 into 6, we get 36 square centimeters. Part 3, find the area of the square ATPQ. ATPQ. ATPQ, that is what? 10 into 10, no? So we get 100 square centimeters. Always don't forget to use the correct unit. Part 4. Find a special relationship between the areas of the three squares. Take 36, right? Take 36 and add it to 64. What will we get? 100. So that is a relationship. So we can further simplify this as what? 36 means square of 6. 64 means square of 8. 100 means what? Square of 10. So that will be the answer. Right, question number 2. The value of the square root of 500 cannot be found by using prime factors. Explain the reason for it. Right. So we will take the number 625. 625 and we will calculate the square root of 625 using the observation method. Okay. So here I will divide this by 5. So we get 125. Again I will divide this by 5. So I will be getting 25. Again I will divide by 5. So I will get 5. 5 I will divide by 5. So I get 1. Right? So 625, that is equal to what? 5 into 5 into 5 into 5. right? Since we are calculating the square root of this number, we have to do the same thing. So square root on this side means same thing on the other side, right? Why? We have a equal symbol now. What happens to the right side should happen at the same time on the other side, right? Okay, so what do? Same two numbers, pick one. Same two numbers, pick one. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ අපිට මේ square root sign එක අහක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So the square root of 625 is what? 25. එතකොට මේ numbers දෙක අතර තියෙන්නේ multiplication. So that is the way we calculate it, right? Now you can see when there are a pair of same numbers, what do? Pick one. දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නකොට එක්කෙනෙක්ව එළියට ගන්නවා. දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නකොට එක්කෙනෙක්ව එළියට ගන්නවා. හරි? Right. Now we will take the number 500. So I will divide this by what? 2. So I will be getting 250. Again I will divide by 2. So I will be getting 225. Right? Then I will be dividing this by 5. So I will be getting 25. 25 divided by 5. That will be 5. 5 divided by 5. That is 1. Then බලන්න මේ when we calculate the square root of 500 like here, so we have to focus on these divisors, so these numbers, no, right? So 2 into 2 into 5 into 5 into 5, no, and also the square root. දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා එක්කෙනෙක්ව එළියට ගන්න ඕන. මේ දෙන්නගෙන් මෙයාව එළියට ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ දෙන්නගෙන් එක පහක් එළියට ගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මෙයාගෙන් එහෙම ගන්න කවුරුත් ඉන්නවද? නෑ. Right? So what happens? We cannot complete the process completely, right? So that's why we cannot use the prime factorization method. Right, miscellaneous questions under that. Question number 3. Show that 8 squared minus 5 squared, that is equal to 8 plus 5 and 8 minus 5. And show the same relationship for another pair of perfect squares. This is the left hand side, this is the right hand side. Okay, so we will do the left hand side. We will simplify the left hand side. So LHS, that means left hand side, right? So 8 squared minus 5 squared. 8 squared means what? 64 minus 25, sorry, 5 squared means 25, right? So when we subtract these, 64 minus 20, we get a 44. Then 44 minus 4, that is 40. 40 minus 1, that is 39. Right. Then the right hand side. Okay. 8 plus 5 into 8 minus 5. 8 plus 5 means what? 13. 8 minus 5 means 3. 13 into 3, we know that is 39. So that means left hand side is equal to right hand side. Therefore, statement is true. Right. So now we will take another pair of numbers. So we will take the number 10 and 5. So that means 10 squared minus 5 squared, it should be equal to what? 10 minus 5 and 10 plus 5. Right. So we will simplify the left hand side. Left hand side, that is what? 10 squared minus 5 squared. That means 100 minus 25. So we will get 75. Okay. Then the right hand side. So 10 minus 5. 10 plus 5. 10 minus 5 means what? 5. 10 plus 5 means 15. 5 into 15, that will be what? 75. So here also, left side is equal to right, left hand side is equal to right hand side. So we can write left hand side is equal to right hand side. That means the statement is true. Right.